Hello everyone, Namaste, hope all of you are well. Today we are going to discuss the second lecture of carbon and its compound. Our chapter name is Carbon and its compounds. First of all, before starting this lecture, I would like to make you remind that in the first lecture we have discussed about the introduction of carbon and its compound chapter, that what is carbon, what is electronic configuration of carbon, and at the end of that lecture 1 I had said to you that in the lecture 2 we will discuss specially about the nomenclature of carbon, right? This lecture is specially dedicated to nomenclature, means how to write the names of carbon. As on the previous lecture also I have informed you the words root. So remember, dear students, if you want to write the words root means remember the counting of carbon. As I have informed you, C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7, C8, C9 and C10. C1 is known as meth, C2 is known as eth, C3 is known as prop, C4 is known as but, C5 is known as pent, C6 is known as hex, C7 is known as hept, C8 is known as oct, C9 is known as non, and C10 is known as dec. After that I had informed you about the linkage. Linkage means bond, means how many types of bond can be there. So I informed you about the linkage. There are total 3 linkages, means there are 3 types of bonds in this chapter, in this carbon and its compound. So if I talk about the linkage, so there are 3 linkages, means first of all single bond, double bond and triple bond. So how many types of bonds are there in the carbon? Triple bonds. So single bond is known as alkene, double bond is known as alkene, and triple bond is known as alkyne. So as you have seen, if you want that formula, that what is alkane formula, what is alkene formula and what is alkyne formula, then I would like to say you that if anybody asks you what is the alkane formula, is CnH2n plus 2. CnH2n plus 2. If I talk about this methane alkane formula, right? So here, as I had informed you, if n is equal to 1, what will happen? C1H2 into 1 plus 2, that is C1H4. We are not writing 1, so we directly write CH4. And when the question is of single bond, then we have to just put the suffix as ane, meth plus ane, that is called methane. The chemical formula of methane is CH4, and if you want to draw the structure, then it will be like this. 4 hydrogens are there, so 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the structural formula of methane, chemical formula CH4, and the structural formula is this. Similarly, if I talk about all the compounds, as I have given you homework also in the lecture number 1, that you have to first of all write all these methane, ethane, propane, butane, pentane. So in the single bond it will be known as methane, second ethane, third propane, fourth butane, fifth pentane, sixth hexane, seventh heptane, eighth octane, ninth nonane, and 10th decane. The chemical formula CnH2n plus 2. So the first chemical formula will be CH4. Second will be C2H6. If you will put the value of n is equal to 2, then C2H2 into 2 plus 2. That is C2H6. Similarly C3H8, C4H10, C5H12, C6H14, C7H16. This is the chemical formula. C8H18, C9H20, and C10H22. So this is the chemical formula, and if you want to draw this compound, as I have drawn here, you can see the methane. Similarly, if you want to draw the ethane, then how you will draw the ethane? You will represent C2H6 is there. So first of all, 2 carbon. So carbon, carbon single bond, and both the carbon will have total 4 bonds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see here hydrogen, 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 hydrogen. So this is the structural formula of ethane. Similarly, you can take the structural formula of propane. What you have to do? You have to just increase the number of carbon. 3 carbons if you want to write. 1, 2, 3. And each carbon will have 4 bonds. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and everywhere you have to put hydrogen. So you can see, and you can count the number of hydrogen also. So that you can see here C3 and H8 is there. It is known as propane. What it is known as? Propane. So I believe that till 10 means from methane to decay. Here I have written the chemical formula. Here I have written the alkane's name. You have to just draw the structures of this methane to decay, and I hope that you can draw it very easily, because it's not too hard as I'm saying you. It's very easy. You can draw this. So first of all, you have to write the number of carbon atoms, then name, then formula, and then structure. Now I will talk about the alkene. Do you know alkene means? As I have said you, alkene means carbon carbon double bond. First of all, where you will put the double bond? You have to choose the number of carbon, and at the first position you have to draw the double bond. As for example, the double bond will be always between the 2 carbon. Means it starts with ethene, right? Means it will start with ethene. So you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4. It is C2H4, right? This is the first one, and second one, if I draw 3 carbons, so between 2 carbon there will be single bond, and first position and second position, if I take, this is the first position, this is second position, and this is third position. So in the first position, carbon will have double bond. So you can see here, the first position is having double bond, second position is also connected with that double bond, and third carbon is having only single. So H, 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 H. You can see here 3, 3, 6, C3H6. Now you should know what the name we should write. We have to just understand, we have to write the words root. Like if I talk about, this is the alkene, Alkene, and the chemical formula is CnH2n. Again, if you talk about the 4th carbon, then you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. In the first position, carbon will have double bond. So hydrogen, 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 hydrogen. 3, 2, 5, 3, 8, C4H8. If I ask you the names of these compounds, then the chemical name of this compound will be eth plus ene, ethene, propene, butene. And remember, if you can write instead of this name, the double bond is at the first position, so you can write like this also, prop1ene. You can write like this also, but1ene. You can write like this also, eth1ene. So as you have seen that the double bond should be on the first position. So what will be the names of this compound? The names of this compound will be ethene or eth1ene, propene, prop1ene, butene, but1ene. Okay, so instead of ene you can write that thing also. Double bond should be on the first position. Pentane, hexane, heptene, octene, nonene, decene. So you have seen here, and what will be the chemical formula? You know CnH2n. Means here you can write that C2H4. This is the chemical formula of ethene. C3H6, C4H8, C5H10, C6H12, C7H14, C8H16, C9H18 and C10H20. So this is the chemical formula of these alkene compounds, and the main thing you have to draw these structures. I have drawn of three: ethene, propene and butene. The rest you have to draw from pentene to decene. You have to draw the structure in your notebook. What you have to do? You have to first write the double bond chemical formulas. What are the names? And after that you have to write like this. And don't forget to notice that the double bond should be at the first position. So that's why I have written here eth1 in also, and it is also known as ethene, propene, butene. Means the double bond should be at the first position. That thing you should not forget. And now we are talking about the triple bond between the carbons. How will we write the names of this? Triple bonds. Now if I talk about the triple bonds, then there is not so hard as I am saying you. It's very easy, and I hope that you all know also. Similarly, you can see first of all it will be also between the two carbons. So carbon-carbon triple bond, and carbon is having total 4 valency, so 4 bonds will be there. So you can see here C2H2. If I talk about the 3 carbons, this will be C3H4. If I talk about the 4 carbons, C3H6, C4H6. So what the chemical formula is creating? That is CnH2n minus 2. CnH2n minus 2, and it is known as alkyne. What is known as? Alkyne, triple bond. You can see the triple bond between the 2 carbons. The triple bond will be always at the first position. So you can write their name as eth1-ine. Eth1-ine. It is also known as ethyne. Pro1-ine, propine, but1-ine, butane. Similarly, pent1-ine, pentane, hexane, heptane, octane, nonine and decyne. So the chemical formula as you have got it of the alkyne is CnH2n minus 2. CnH2n minus 2. You have to just increase the number of carbons. We will start from 2. So here the name will be ethyne. Ethyne, propine, butane, pentane, hexane, heptane, octane, nonine and decyne. So what you have seen? You have seen the single bond, double bond, triple bond, and the chemical formula CnH2n minus 2 means C2H4, C3H6, C3H4, C2H2, C2H2, C3H4, after then C5, what will be there? C5H8, C6, butane is C4. Butane is all about the C4, not pentane and all. Butane is about C4H6. So you can see here, you can write in the butane C4H6, C5H8, C6H10, C7H12, C8H14, C9H16 and C10H20, H18, not 20, H18. So this is the chemical formulas. The names are written. You have to just draw the structure of this alkane, alkene and alkyne. And I hope that you can draw the structures. It's very easy because already I have shown you these things. Now the main important thing, you have to just take a click of this and remember the formulas. How to write the formula, that is the most important thing. So if you are drawing the structure, it is also represented in your Ncrd textbook also. You have to just remember the alkane formula. Alkane is CnH2n plus 2. Alkene is CnH2n, and alkyne is CnH2n minus 2. Right? Got it? If I ask to suddenly draw the structural formula of hexane, so how you will draw? 6 carbon. Hex means 6 carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on the first position you have to draw triple bond. One student had asked me, sir, why you are always taking that side first position? Can we take this side? Yes. You can start from any side, but that position you have to count as a first position. So here you can take here also triple bond. As I have taken here, instead of that you can take here also. But remember that the main thing that carbon should have 4 bonds. Each carbon should have 4 bonds. So you can see here this carbon is also having 4 bonds. This carbon is also having 4 bonds, and rest single bonds you can see here. Now you can count the number of hydrogen atoms. 4, 2s are 8, 9 and 10. So C6H10. And if I talk about the formula alkyne, so you can see here CnH2n minus 2. So C6H2 into 6 minus 2. That is C6H12 minus 2. That is C6 and H10. So you can see here the total number of hydrogen is 10, total number of carbon is 6, and at the first position carbon is having triple bond. So if you want to draw any structure of this alkane, alkene or alkyne, it's very easy. You can name them. As in the previous video I had taught you about the words root. That is the main important thing is words root. And then you should remember the alkane, alkene, alkyne chemical formula. What you will put the suffix, as here you have to put suffix as ane. Words root plus suffix, and suffix is your this alkane, alkene and alkyne. CnH2n means words root plus ane, words root plus ene, and words root plus yne. So whatever the number of carbon is there, 1 carbon, so methane, 2 carbon, ethane, propane, till decane. So till 10 you have to draw the structures, and I hope that it's very easy. You can see the things which I have represented on board. It's not so difficult. If you want to take a screenshot, you can take the screenshot also. That it will be easy for you to remember. If you are not writing these things, then it's very easy to remember. Now I will go ahead with the chains and branches of this rings of carbon. Why I am saying you this chains and branches? Because of the saturated and unsaturated. What is this saturated and unsaturated? If anybody will ask you, sir, what is this saturated, unsaturated as you are talking about? So dear student, when carbon is in the straight chain with a single bond, when carbon is in the straight chain, as all the structures are straight only, but here the changes are of double bond and triple bond. But remember dear student, when I talk about the straight chain means only single bond, that is saturated carbon. Means all the alkanes are saturated. Alkenes and alkynes are unsaturated carbon. Alkenes and alkynes are unsaturated. Pure and impure. Pure ghee, impure ghee. In the pure ghee what happens? Either cow's ghee or buffalo's ghee. Right? So we talk about the pure ghee means all the ghee is prepared by either the cow or the buffalo. So that is the cow's pure ghee, buffalo's pure ghee. Similarly, all the saturated carbons are made by the single and the straight chain of carbons. So that is all the alkanes are saturated and alkenes and alkynes are unsaturated hydrocarbons. I hope you have remembered this word alkenes and alkynes. Now we will move towards the functional group. Okay. All of you have taken your lunch, all of you have taken your breakfast, or all of you have taken your dinner. Whenever you are seeing this video, before seeing this video, I would like to ask you one thing. What you have taken in the lunch or dinner? Either you have taken some chapatis, rice, some vegetables. When it becomes special dish, when something special is prepared, that time it's become special dish. Means if you are a Gujarati, it's very common. That common jalebi and fafra you will know very well. These are the spicy dishes, where especially we take in the breakfast. in the lunch if you are getting some sweets like rasgulla, ladu and any other things. So when you take these things, it becomes special, means something extra is added. Similarly, when one instead of hydrogen, if any other compound is added, which compound? So that compound is called functional group. Functional group. That if any function is added, how it will be added? Now question is, there are total only 4 bonds in the carbon. So as we have represented about the alkene, you know very well. Here just suppose I am writing about an alkene. Here the 2 carbons are there and ethane formula, right? H, 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 H. Chemical formula C2H6, name is ethane. Okay? E1N, ethane. Okay? Now tell me that where we will add all the 4 bonds are packed. So what we have to do, we have to remove one hydrogen atom. If we will remove one hydrogen atom, then one functional group is ready to. Now you will ask me, sir, what is this functional group? As I have already informed you, we take some special dishes in the dinner or lunch. Similarly, if we add any functional group in this compound, what are this functional group? First of all, remember the word as I have told you that ethane, we have to remove one hydrogen atom. So what will happen? As you will remove one hydrogen atom, then it will become C2H5. But here the bond will be indicating that something is left to add. So that left to add means here we have replaced one hydrogen atom and one thing which is left to add. So which thing is left to add? Here we can add anything. And that compound is called functional group. Functional group. Now I will inform you about this functional group. These are the groups by which if we add in this alkane, alkene or alkyne, it will change the name of that compound. Just suppose if I talk about alcohol. Alcohol functional group is OH. So instead of this hydrogen, as we have replaced one hydrogen, we have to just add OH. If I talk about aldehyde, functional group is CHO. You can see here. If I talk about carboxylic acid, functional group COOH. If I talk about ketone functional group C double bond O, both the side is left to add ketone. So as you have seen here, similarly there are so many functional groups. If I talk about ester, if I talk about ether, there are many functional groups which we can add. So now question is, if we are adding the functional group, what will happen? So if we are adding these things like as I have said you, ether, right? Ether, ester. So you should remember that what is the difference between these things, that when we add anything, then that will be change the name of that compound. How it will change the name of the compound? As I have written here, the functional group as OH in the form of alcohol. Now I will teach you how we have to write this functional group and the names. So the writing formula, you should know the name of this compound, how to write the name of this compound. That is called nomenclature. Nomenclature, IUPAC nomenclature. How you will write the names of this compound in the form of IUPAC nomenclature, I will teach you today, and it's very easy to understand. So let's see that how we will write today as in the form of nomenclature. No need to worry little bit also. So as I have informed you, that first of all words root as methane. Methane is CH4. This is called methane. If I have removed minus one hydrogen, if I have removed minus one H, means one hydrogen I have removed, then it became CH3. Having one left to add, this group is called methyl group. What is known as methyl. Okay, CH3 is known as methyl, and I have added alcohol functional group. Alcohol functional group means OH. Suffix we have to add. So CH3OH. CH3OH. The chemical formula is CH3OH. And the suffix of alcohol is ol, OL, ol. Okay, so this compound name will be known as methanol. Methane, instead of methane, what we have to do? We have to, our compound name was methane. We have to remove this E and we have to add the functional group. So this E and this E cancel, and methane plus all, methanol. Similarly, ethanol, 2 carbon. There was total 6 hydrogen, 1 we have replaced and we have put OH. So the name of the compound was ethane. We have removed E and we have added ON. So the compound name is ethanol. So what we have to do now, one by one, each functional group you have to add to this compound alkene. Alkene. Now why I am talking about alkene? Because there is a homologous series. What is this homologous series? You will see each carbon is differed by CH2. CH2. This is homologous series. Means the same number of carbon is added in each compound. You can see here CH4 plus CH2, that is C2H6. C2H6 plus CH2, C3H8. C3H8 plus CH2, C4H10. C4H10 plus CH2, C5H10. Means everywhere this plus CH2 is added to the next carbon and the next name we have got it. So methane plus CH2, ethane plus CH2, propane plus CH2, butane plus CH2, pentane plus CH2, hexane plus CH2, heptane plus CH2, octane plus CH2, nonane plus CH2, decane. So as you have seen that plus CH2 is added to the next carbon, so that is called homologous series. Means same number of carbon hydrogen is added to the next carbon. So this series will be known as homologous series. What will be this series known as? Homologous series. And this functional group in the Ncrd it is written that will you be my friend. You will see in the Ncrd textbook that will you be my friend means if I want to make any friend. So there are some rules, we do not understand the rules. But if you want to be my friend, then these are some rules. You don't have to talk anyone's negative in front of me. You don't have to make fun of anyone's in front of me. There are some rules. We do not understand that these rules are there. But when we break these rules, that friend becomes unfriend to us. Similarly, these are all the functional groups are the friends of this alkane, alkene and alkyne groups. So when they go and add to that alkene, alkene or alkyne group, they become a new compound that's called alcohol in the form of methanol, in the form of ethanol, propanol, butanol, pentanol, hexanol, heptanol, octanol, nonanol and decanol. So what is your homework? That you have to first of all write each and every alkene in the form of functional group. As I am writing that what suffix you have to add. Okay? If you are adding any functional group of alcohol, then you have to remove E and you have to add ON. See dear student, I am giving you how to write. First of all, the things which I am giving you, remember, words root, whatever the words root are there, plus words root plus linkage. Linkage means single bond, double bond, triple bond. Now you have to remove E. You have to remove E from the either single bond, alkene E, you have to remove alkene E, alkyne E. You have to remove, and then you have to add the functional group suffix. Functional group suffix. Now, what are the suffix of functional group? First, alcohol. Alcohol suffix is ON. What you have to add? ON. If I am adding aldehyde, then I have to add AN. Last I have to add AN. If I am adding carboxylic acid, then what I have to add? Oic acid. These things you have to add at last. Oic acid. If I am adding ketone, so at last I have to add ONE, ketone. ONE, okay? So these four, first of all, you have to write. Methane, ethane, propane, butane, pentane. One by one you have to take each and every. If I talk, if anybody asks you, what is the chemical formula of pentanone? So pentanone, pent means how many carbon? 5 carbons. So first of all write the 5 carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, and I have said you pentanol, all. Last I have said all means alcohol. Alcohol is represented as OH. OH, alcohol, CHO, aldehyde, COOH, carboxylic acid, and C double bond, both the side having left the bond. This is called ketone. So if any this type of functional group is added, pentanone. Now everywhere I have to just represent the hydrogen. You can see here pentanone. This is the structural formula of pentanone, and if you want to write the chemical formula, 5 carbon, 5 2 are 10 plus 1, 11 hydrogen and OH. C5H11OH. This is the chemical formula of pentanone. So if you want to write IUPAC name, so first of all I am saying you the names of the compound in a homologous series are based on the name of the basic carbon chain modified by a prefix phase before or suffix phase after. Prefix and suffix. Prefix, as you know, in Hindi it's called upsarg and pratyay. In English, prefix and suffix. Pre means before and suffix means after. So prefix, if you are adding the homologous series CH2 everywhere, so if you are adding any suffix and prefix indicating the nature of the functional group. For example, the names of the alcohol like methanol, ethanol, propanol, butanol, pentanol, hexanol, heptanol, octanol, nonanol, decanol. Now, naming a carbon compound can be done by the following methods. First method, you have to identify the number of carbon atoms in a compound. A compound having 3 carbon will be known as propane. First thing what you have to do, you have, if this type of structure is there, you have to count the number of carbon. If structure is there and the question is that you have to represent the name of that compound. So just suppose if here total 5 carbons are there, so the 5 carbon name you can see on the board, the 5 carbon is known as pent, right? In case of functional group is present, it is indicating that in the name of the compound with either a prefix or suffix. Prefix or suffix means like haloalkane is prefix and alkyl halide is suffix. So here, if just suppose I am just talking about that if any functional group is added or modified in the compound, so the final E will be removed and the functional group will be appropriately added as a suffix. Just suppose the 3 carbon is there with a ketone group. Okay, 3 carbon is added with a ketone group. Just suppose I am talking about 3 carbon is there. And you can see here ketone functional group is, just suppose this is your compound, 3 carbon is there and it is added with the ketone functional group. So what will be the name known as? 3 carbon is known as pro. And if it would be directly single bond, then we can write propane, but here the functional group is added, so In the propane, what we have to remove? From the propane, we have to remove this E. Means E, it will be cancelled, and the functional group ketone is ONE. ONE is the suffix, and it will be known as propanone. What it will be known as? Propanone. Propane on, that's called propanone. So as you have seen here, if you want to count, first of all you have to count the carbon atoms, then you have to see the functional group, after that you have to write the alkene names, then you have to remove E, then you have to add the functional group, and if the carbon chain is unsaturated, unsaturated means double bond or triple bond, similarly you have to do, you have to just find the alcohol, means any functional group is present where. Now question comes, sir, where we should add this prefix or suffix. So dear student, one thing I just want to say you, that prefix and suffix, remember dear student, prefix means all the halogen groups. Halogen group means like chlorine, bromine, iodine, fluorine. These all the groups are called halo groups. So these halo groups will be added prior, that is called prefix, and rest all the functional group will be added after, that is called suffix. So now you have understood about the prefix and suffix, and it is also represented in your Ncrd textbook. You can see in the Ncrd textbook it's given, I am giving you the page number of Ncrd textbook, then you will be 68 page number. You can see the prefix and suffix and some compound name in the table it's given. Now we will discuss about the Ncrd questions. What are there are total 3 or no, there are total 5 questions. Now these 5 questions we will discuss it, that how these questions are solved. So I hope all of you have understood. Now these 5 questions let me solve, and then we will end this video. So you will be able to understand and you will be able to write the names. The first question of the in-text one is that, let me see what is the question. How many structural isomers? Yeah, isomer, one thing is left. Isomer means what? Chemical formula same and structural formula different. Means the number of carbon hydrogen atom will be the same, but the drawing style of carbon and hydrogen will be different. That is called isomer, and this phenomenon is known as isomerism. Means a compound which is having same chemical formula. मतलब कार्बन हाइड्रोजन के नंबर सेम रहेंगे, लेकिन उनका जो ड्राइंग स्टाइल है, जैसे मतलब एक स्ट्रेट लाइन में हम लोग ड्रॉ कर रहे हैं, तो स्ट्रेट लाइन में नहीं ड्रॉ करके कार्बन के ऊपर कार्बन, कार्बन के नीचे कार्बन, इस तरह से ड्रॉ करेंगे तो उनका स्ट्रक्चर क्या हो जाएगा, चेंज हो जाएगा. The chemical formula should be the same and the structural formula will be the different. So that type of compound is called isomer, and this phenomenon is called isomerism. So we are talking about pentane. The first question is, how many isomers can be of pentane? Pentane means 5 carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see. So what will be this compound known as? You can see the chemical formula is C5H12 only. There will be no changes in chemical formula. C5H12. And this compound is known as normal pentane. Normal pentane. Instead of normal, you can write N-pentane. So generally, whatever the alkanes we are writing, they are called normal alkanes. So normal pentane. Now what I will do, I will just take one carbon outside. Means here 1, 2, 3, 4. Total 4 carbon, and 1 carbon will be the above side. Now you can count here, the 5 carbons and 12 hydrogens are only there. So the chemical formula will not be changed. But here structure you have seen that what I have done, I have taken 1 carbon from the 5th group and I have just added the carbon on the 3rd position. So this is known as isopentane. Isopentane means, iso means equal. If we add either from this side second position or from this side second position, so it will be known as isopentane. This is normal pentane, normal pentane. Instead of normal, I have just denoted N and we are writing like this only. So normal pentane, isopentane, this is the first isomer of pentane, second isomer of pentane, and third isomer of pentane. What I will do, I will write 3 carbon, on the middle I will write above also and down also. So there are total here also the same number of hydrogen, same number of carbon, means chemical formula is same but the structural formula is different. C5H12, chemical formula is same, and this is known as neopentane. What is this known as? Neopentane. So there are 3 isomers of pentane: normal pentane, isopentane, and neopentane. If anybody asks you what is isomer, then you have to say chemical formula same, structural formula different of the compound is called isomer. The phenomenon is known as isomerism. There are total 3 isomers of pentane: normal, iso, and neopentane. If you want to take a screenshot, then you can take a screenshot of the board. Now we will move toward the second question. What are the 2 properties of carbon which lead to the huge number of carbon compounds we see around? One is homologous series. As I have informed you that because of homologous series, we see the different compounds of carbon around us. And the second one, that why we see, because of the addition of the straight branches of carbon of some compounds of carbon atoms arranged in the form of ring, like cyclohexane, cyclopentane, cyclobutane, cyclopropane. So these chains and rings of carbon, because of the homologous series and the chains of carbon. The second question you can write like this, that why the carbon atoms is having, the question is, let me check the question. Question is about, what are the 2 properties of the compound which lead to a huge number of carbon compound to see around us? The 2 properties of the carbon that we see the huge number of compound around us are, first one is homologous series, the straight chain, and second one is the ring chain, means it is in the form of ring like this: cyclopropane, cyclobutane, cyclopentane. So these are the huge number of compounds of carbon which we see around us because of the homologous series. So remember the words homologous series and chains of the carbon compound. Now we are moving towards the third. What will be the formula and electron dot structure of cyclopentane? See, one question came right now, only I have drawn, but let me draw the structure, electronic dot structure also, and how we will represent this cyclopentane. So cyclopropane or cyclopentane. Let me check the question. The question is about cyclopentane, 5 carbons. You have to draw the electronic dot structure of cyclopentane. How you will draw the cyclopentane structure? Pentane means 5 carbons. 5 carbon structure here. 1 carbon, 2 carbon, 3 carbon, 4 carbon, 5 carbon. You can see all the carbon. Since N is there, means single bond is there. And all the carbon will have how many hydrogen? 4 hydrogens, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So here you can see. Generally we draw like a pentane structure. This is a pentane structure, you can see. Right? and here the number of carbon atoms are arranged. So the chemical formula will be the C5H12 only, right? You have to draw like this, and if you want to draw the electronic dot structure, then you have to just represent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons. All the 5 carbons will have 4 electrons, right? All the 5 carbons will have 4 electrons. So you can see all the carbon is having 4 electronic dot structure, and then hydrogen 1 structures. Hydrogen 1 electron, here the 2 hydrogens will be attached with both the carbons. So 2 hydrogen atoms, right? So now you can see here, this is the electronic dot structure, means you can see that how these bonds are attached with this carbon atoms. Means carbon, first of all, these hydrogen are attaching with 1 electrons. Both the hydrogen are attaching with to complete its duet, and the carbon take this both the electrons of hydrogen and 1 electrons of carbon. So you can see this electronic dot structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this one 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So you can see this electronic dot structure. All the carbons should have 8 electrons by sharing their electrons with each other, right? Now you can see similarly here 1 electrons, and here also this side also 1 electrons is there. So don't worry, here this one also is shared by this carbon, right? Similarly you can see hydrogen are sharing 1 electrons, and this carbon is sharing this 1 electron with this carbon and 1 electrons with this carbon. So we can represent like this, right? So here also you can see similarly hydrogen is sharing 1 electrons to complete a duet, and this carbon atom is sharing 1 electrons from this carbon and 1 electron from this carbon. So how it will be shared? Like that. Right? So here you can see similarly here hydrogen also 1 electron from the carbon atoms, and this carbon is sharing 1 electron from this carbon atom and 1 electron from that carbon atom. So here you can see, right? And last one will be also like 1 carbon from this. Hydrogen is sharing 1 electron from the carbon atom, and this will be represented that this carbon is sharing 1 electrons from this, right? So you can see this is the electronic dot structure of pentane. You have to just show that how the carbon is completing its octet. 1 electrons from the carbon atoms, each single carbon attached with both the 2 carbon atoms and the 2 hydrogen atoms. So you can see that how they are completing their electronic dot structure. If you don't want to show that 8 electron, then you can just show the 4 dot and 1 dot with the hydrogen atoms. Now the fourth question, you have to draw the structures of following compounds like ethanoic acid, butanone, bromopentane, and hexane. Very easy question. I hope this you can draw very easily. It's very easy to draw these things. Fourth question is our ethanoic acid. Ethanoic acid. Ethane means 2 carbon, right? And 1 carbon is having acid, means COOH. COOH, and another is CH3. So this is the structure of ethanoic acid. Second is bromopentane. 5 carbon attached with 1 bromine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One is attached with bromine atoms. Rest is attached with the hydrogen atoms. So you can draw their hydrogens, and it is bromopentane. This is ethanoic acid and this is bromopentane. You can write, this is the first one, ethanoic acid, second one is bromopentane. Third one is butanone. Butanone means 4 carbon is there with the ketone group, 1, 2, 3, 4. And on third carbon you have to just put ketone and rest hydrogen you have to put. So here you can see this is the structure of butanone, right? Butanone. And last one is hexanal. Hexanal. Al means aldehyde. So 6 carbon. First of all, 5 carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6th carbon is having CHO group, aldehyde group. So hexanal. So this is the structure of hexanal. So by this way, I hope that you can write the compound's name. If you have any difficulties while writing any compound's name, then you can drop it out into the comment box section. As this is your question number 4 and the last question, you have to write the name of the compounds. As you can see, bromoethane, methanol, and the third name is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is hexane. First one is bromoethane, second one is methanol, and the third one is hexane. So as you have seen, it's very easy to write the names of these things. In the next video, we will discuss about the chemical properties of the carbon compounds. If you are having any difficulties while writing the IUPAC names of any compounds, then please drop it down into the comment box section. That's all for today. Thank you very much. If you have enjoyed this video, if you have understand this video, then don't forget to like and subscribe this channel. Share this video with your friends so they can be also benefited. Thank you very much.